Awesome. Cool. So I thought we'd start today. So this is going to be a kind of slow movement, restorative yin. Yeah, just kind of chill out time. So I thought we'd start with our legs. I'm going to bring my legs up the wall. And if you have a like sofa or bed or something by you where you can bring your legs up, then yeah, feeling free to take that option. So just finding a way as smoothly as you can. Kind of bring your legs up onto a surface, and maybe it's just having some pillows or something under the legs as well. They don't necessarily have to be up on something. And then bringing any blankets underneath your head, maybe a bolster underneath the sit bones or cushions underneath the sit bones as well. Just finding a way to be really comfortable in this shape. And I've got my sit bones, my pelvis quite far from the wall, so I'm not kind of straight up against that surface. So you might be more comfortable being a bit closer or a bit further, just finding that place, which is good for you and your body. And then as you arrive into that shape, just feeling into how you've arrived, where your body is meeting the earth, and then where those parts of you are lifted away. And just making any little adjustments you'd like to make here. And if your legs are kind of up on a wall or a surface, you can have a little movement of the foot one way and the other. So the toe kind of moves in a semicircle, and just start to move into those hip sockets here. And then maybe moving the other foot or both at the same time. Just bringing any little movements you like to make, maybe with the hands as well. Making some circles with the wrists, movements with the fingers, just feeling into those joints. And then either staying with that little bit of movement or just releasing. And feeling that support of the earth underneath the back. And support of whatever is on the legs or the feet, where they're resting on the wall here or the bed or sofa, wherever your legs are resting up on. And bringing awareness to the breath. And just notice how is your breathing. Allowing that breath to be soft and light here. And bringing your full self to this shape, to this practice this afternoon. Allowing your physical body to arrive here, to be here. The mind, the thinking body. And just seeing throughout this practice this afternoon if your mind starts wandering, maybe out of the practice, maybe to things that happened before, what you're going to do after, then just see if you can kindly and gently welcome yourself back to where you are. Welcome yourself back to your body, to this space, and to your breath, and let your breath help you, support you in bringing you back to the present. The emotional body, how you're feeling this afternoon. Letting that part of you arrive and be present. And the energetic body. How your energy levels. Letting your full self be here. Be present. Arrive. Welcome yourself. Maybe letting that exhale extend slightly now. Just elongating the exhale a bit longer than the inhale. Letting that drop you into that rest and digest state, that parasympathetic nervous system. And I didn't mention at the start of the practice, but this will be a bit slower and some space for a little bit of silence or inward sensations and looking. So I won't be talking as much, but if you'd like to put on some gentle music in the background, if you don't want that kind of silence, then feeling free to put on some music, making it quite gentle and relaxing, or having this time for silence for yourself. Seeing if you can keep some awareness on that breath for the next minute or so. Gentle, light breathing. Always feeling free to make any little adjustments in your shape that you're in. Anytime. Using any supports you have around you to make yourself as comfortable as possible. As you breathe, feeling the back body, that slight gentle push into the earth as you inhale, that expansion of the lungs, the rib cage, through the belly, back of the lungs into the earth. And the exhale, that hugging back inwards. Take another 10 or so breath cycles here. Keep on arriving where you are. And letting yourself just be. Couple more breaths here. And just take that little check-in yourself after those few breaths that we've taken here in the shape. Anything change from when you first joined the practice? Just notice how you're feeling. And we'll just slide those feet so they come to about that 90-degree shape. So if you're on the wall, then your feet will kind of be flat on that wall. Maybe your legs are already in this shape if you're on the sofa or chair. They're just suspended upwards. And then taking one of your feet and just placing it gently over that opposite knee. And you might want to bring yourself slightly further away from where you are. So just crossing that ankle over that knee slightly. And just feeling into that little bit of sensation through the glute, the back of the leg there. And if you want a little bit more sensation here, feeling free to bring those hands behind that other leg and bring that leg up slightly, or just keep the leg what it is. Let this be just a gentle sensation, a little gentle stretch. You can rock that leg that's on the wall or up on the chair one way and the other if you'd like. That feels good for you. Just rocking the pelvis back and forth. And staying with your breath throughout this practice this afternoon. And take another 3 or so breaths here in this shape. Doesn't have to be a strong sensation, it can be really gentle. And then releasing that leg. You might want to bring that knee into the body a little bit and maybe just make a few circles with the knee one way and the other. Again, just being really gentle, easeful here. And placing that foot back on your surface on the wall or that settee or a chair. And let's take the other leg, place that ankle over that knee, come into that little figure 4 shape. And again, the option to bring those hands through and kind of have a little gentle pull towards the body with that opposite leg or that other leg, or just leave that leg where it is and have a little rock side to side through the pelvis, through that knee. Just feeling maybe that little bit of sensation through that glute muscle from the legs up through the hamstring there. It doesn't have to be a strong sensation, just letting it be quite gentle. And seeing if you can keep that awareness on the breath and on the sensations in the body. And take another 3 or so breaths here. And releasing that leg and maybe bringing that other knee towards the body and gently a few little circles of the knee towards the chest and away, out to the side, out to the other side. Moving that femur bone in the hip socket of the pelvis. And then taking the other knee as well, and you can make some little circles with both knees now, or maybe hug the knees into the body. You have a little rock through the back body, through the pelvis. Just moving any way here you like to move. And the next 2 or 3 breath cycles, just taking a roll over to one side, whole body comes over to one side and just resting down on the side body for a few breaths. Body curling inwards, the knees coming towards the chest, maybe the head comes down, maybe the fingers and the toes curl inward. Giving yourself a little hug on the side body. And then when you're ready, the next 2 or so breaths, beginning to gently bring yourself up. And we'll meet with our palms and knees on the earth, coming through into that cat-cow shape. Just taking your time to adjust from that lying shape to being up. And so we'll come to have our palms and knees on the earth and feeling that support from the earth through the hands, through the knees, the top of the feet. And just beginning to invite any movement here that feels good. So maybe you just start slow, having a little rock side to side through the pelvis. Maybe you want to start with those cat-cows. Maybe making them small and subtle to start before you make them bigger. Seeing if you can let your breath be your guide your movements. Being kind to yourself, gentle with your body. Maybe conjuring up those words that might guide your practice, maybe ease, kindness, softness, maybe slow, restful. As these words come to you that might speak to you this afternoon, just notice how that makes your body feel, how that kind of dictates your movement. Bending through the elbows, bringing the weight towards the hands and the knees. And as you bring your weight maybe to one side or the other or back and forward, you might like to imagine like sand in an hourglass, the sand pouring into one limb, pouring into the other, and then pouring to the hands, one hand, one knee, the other hand. Maybe this makes your movement feel that kind of weighty feeling, that slow feeling of that sand moving through the body. But seeing if you can keep that little bit of buoyancy, that lift up, so we're not collapsing down. We're just feeling into that support of the earth, but at the same time letting the earth support us. That balance of downward energy and upward energy. Moving any way you'd like to move. Maybe Bringing awareness to the spine. Moving into parts of the spine you haven't explored yet. Feeling that fluidity of each vertebrae moving. Just exploring here. Nothing to achieve or gain or get. All about exploration. Noticing sensations in the body, moving with the breath. And then from here, just beginning to bring your weight back and forward now. So weight into the lower legs, the knees, and then weight into the hands. You can combine that with that cat-cow shape. So arching upwards as you come down, and then that elongation as you push up. Maybe feeling into that sand again, if that was helpful or felt good for you. Sand pouring into the legs. And then pouring into the hands. Transferring that weight back and forward. And seeing if you can move with your breath or notice what phase of the breath supports which phase of the movement. And then the next time you find yourself coming down, and then as you come up, allow that little spring up to bring one foot forwards. You come into that low lunge shape with the legs. And then from here, we'll just bring the weight back and forward through that front foot. So bending at that knee, maybe coming slightly forward and then coming into a slightly straighter leg. So you might, like me, I can't get my legs straight here at all, but it's just feeling into that sensation of coming back and forward. You might feel a little bit of sensation through the back of the leg as you come back. Maybe through that opposite hip or kind of front of the pelvis there as you come forward. Just letting that be really gentle. So it might be a really small movement. It might be a bit bigger. As you come back, you can even come onto that heel, lift those toes up through that foot. Be kind of soft or buoyant on those hands through the fingertips, or maybe bringing cushions or blankets under the hands here as well if you like a little bit more support or height. Taking a couple more breaths here. This be an active movement, an active stretch of those legs. Take that one more time and then coming forward. And the next time you come back, just allow that leg to return. And then take any movement you want to take as you come back to that palms and knees shape. At any time as well, always coming down to the elbows if you'd like. Taking that weight off those wrists. And let's take that on the other side. So just rock back and forward a few times again here, moving that sand from the hands, the legs. And then the next time you come back, let that spring you forward and bring that other leg forward. And again, just rock back and forward here through that front leg. Taking any of those little variations, doesn't have to be a big movement, can be really small and gentle for the body. And just honoring what your body needs, how you're feeling. And as well, you can kind of pause in a shape, so maybe pausing as you're forward or taking a little pause as you're back. Just for a few, maybe a breath or so, and then coming back to that dynamic movement. Taking another 3 breath cycles here. Maybe the breath is guiding this movement of the movement forward and back as well. And the next time you come forward and you come back, allow that foot or that leg to return. And again, just take any movement here you want to make. Maybe coming down to the elbows, rotating through that pelvis. And letting your body be soft and fluid. We'll come back to that palms and knees shape. And this time, as we bring the weight forward and back, and let's bring one foot forward, and then maybe coming back a little bit, and then springing the other leg forward, and we'll come into the standard forward fold here. And so if you have that wall that you're using, or maybe another surface, you can actually bring the sit bones as well to the wall, so giving a little bit of support, so it's more of a yin kind of movement here. And then let the knees bend as much as you need, resting the belly down on the knees, or an option is to bring elbows to knees as well. And let yourself be free and loose here, so letting the head, maybe taking a little nod of the head, let the head and the neck be soft towards the earth. And taking a sway side to side if that feels good. Doesn't have to be a static movement. Maybe the belly is resting down on the thighs, and if it is, then noticing that inhale and exhale as the belly pushes into those legs and then softens away. Thinking any variations you need, so maybe staying in this shape for too long is a bit much. You can slowly bring the hands up to the knees or those upper legs and just rest here, a bit higher up, or you can stay lower down. You can let the legs as well widen if you'd like, kind of wider forward fold with the feet. Having a little explore of this shape. And then really gently, we're going to come up to stand, but just unwinding the body, each vertebrae at a time, extending upwards. Taking your time to arrive in that standing shape, the neck and the head coming up last. Taking that really slowly. And then as you arrive in your standing shape, you can take a little swing side to side with those arms. Let the heels lift up and come down as you move. You can have those eyes closed, that's comfortable, or have them open, up to you. And then finding that standing shape, that Tadasana, the feet can be hip width distance apart, or maybe a little wider, if that's comfortable for you. And take the weight to one foot and the other. So again, maybe thinking about that sand flowing down through one leg and then flowing down through the other. Maybe taking little circles so the weight comes towards the toes and the sides of the feet, the heels, the other side. Maybe coming around the other way. And then coming to that standing shape. Letting those knees be a little bit soft, so almost imagining bent knees and a straight leg, so just a little bit of softening through the knees. Letting the belly be soft, those shoulders and arms be soft. And just take a few breaths here and notice if you have that space for the breath to move the belly, the lungs, the rib cage. If you'd like to, you can bring the hands up to those ribs, the lower ribs, and breathe into the hands. Feel that expansion of the body as you breathe. And that hugging, that condensing inwards as you exhale. And feeling into that yielding sensation here. So that sand moving towards the earth, that weighty feeling towards the earth. And at the same time, that energy, that flow of energy moving upwards, suspend you upwards. So you have this balance between earth and sky. I'm going to take a few body rolls here. So coming down into that forward fold and then back up. And so this movement can be quite big, coming all the way into that forward fold, bending at the knees, or if you'd like to make it a lot smaller, if blood pressure is an issue here, then just let that movement be really small. It doesn't have to be big to feel into the curling and the ascension. So when you're ready, taking an option that suits you, nodding that chin towards the chest and letting that start to bring the body downwards towards the earth. Those arms can be soft and long towards the earth, bending at the knees, creasing up the hip joint here, bringing the body downwards. And then as you arrive down, maybe taking a few moments there before you start to bring the weight back into the feet, pushing away, pushing the earth away with the feet and allowing that to bring the body all the way back up, taking this gently and slowly. Taking this with your own breath and your own time. And maybe imagining that sand again as we move here. So sand moving towards the head, the arms, the shoulders, maybe the upper back. And as you come to stand back up, that sand is slowly moving down through the legs to the feet, lifting, making that upper body lighter, lifting it up towards the sky. Maybe looking towards one foot and coming down, and that kind of sideways. So one arm is slightly longer than the other, and then as you come down to the bottom, coming through center, looking towards the other foot, coming up the other way. Only taking that if you'd like, or you can stay with that kind of straight movement up and down in our body rolls. Maybe taking one or two more here, letting them be as slow or as fast as you'd like, as big or as small as you'd like. Letting the knees bend. Take a few more moments with this movement. Coming to a stand, a stop whenever you'd like, or keep moving for a few more breaths. And if you have found yourself standing again, just letting yourself be here for a few more breath cycles. Breathing into those lungs, the ribs, the belly. And you can take any little movements you might want to take, maybe swaying side to side, maybe having a little twist round, or you can stay in stillness, whatever serves you. Maybe bigger movements, maybe small movements, maybe a little shake. Maybe you're feeling like you want to stay slow and soft. And then let's come back to a little bit of stillness here, and we'll take a body roll, come all the way back down towards the earth. Letting yourself slowly drip back down. Bringing those hands down to the earth and then stepping back. And taking any movement you might want to take to readjust as you come down to the earth. Maybe those elbows are down or the hands down on the floor with the knees. And then we're going to come into a child's pose. So taking the sit bones, bringing the sit bones towards the heels here, and those knees can be out towards the side of the mat or more together. We're going to stay here for a few minutes. So if you're comfortable being down or onto the earth, then coming down to that shape. Or if you have any bolsters or pillows or anything else to support you, blankets, cushions, I recommend bringing something underneath the body here to give some more support. And then you can rest down, either down on the forehead or down to one cheek. Bringing the body down to that surface. So wherever you are, just taking a few moments to settle and bring some support under the body. Maybe blankets over the bolster, support for the head. Maybe you're using your cushions or pillows from your bed. Feeling into this restorative shape for the body in our child's pose, that grounding sensation to the earth. But also with the breath, feeling into the breath through the back of the body. So you can direct the breath to the back of the ribs, back of the lungs. Maybe feeling the sensation of those shoulder blades. As you inhale, moving slightly apart, and then as you exhale, coming slightly together. Maybe each breath with that inhale, letting that feeling of lift away from the earth towards the sky come in, and then as you exhale, that softening back down, that yielding back down towards the earth. Feeling free to always make any adjustments during your child's pose. Maybe the head comes to the other side if it's on the side. Maybe you take a little rock one way and the other through the spine, the forehead. And notice as your awareness drifted off out of your body, away from your breath, and just gently, kindly bringing the awareness back to your breath here, to the sensations in your body, where your body is resting down on the earth or those supportive surfaces you're using. Let's take another 5 to 10 breaths here. Staying present. Keep noticing what you notice. Beginning to awareness back to your body here. If you're maybe drifted off somewhere, making any little movements with the hands, taking a few more breaths here. And then walking the hands towards the body if they're out front. We're just beginning to bring the body back up, coming into that kneeling shape. As you arrive kneeling or seated, just taking any little movements you might want to make through the spine, through the shoulders. Breathing the arms up, taking a little stretch. Just moving however you'd like to move, or maybe you're staying in a bit more stillness. Those arms are circling, stretching through one side and the other. No right or wrong way to move, just moving in a way that's comfortable and nourishing for you. I'm going to come to lie on our side body here. Just moving away any props in the way of lying. And then finding if you have something, a support for the head. So it might be a pillow or a couple of folded blankets. And coming down to lie on the side. And just let there be a bit of room behind the head as well in your support, because we're going to roll over slightly. And finding like you're sitting on a chair, that side position for the body. So the knees, that 90-degree angle, with the legs, the lower legs. And those hands can be out in front, just one on top of the other. Notice if you're maybe curling inwards here or extending the back, seeing if you can find some neutrality in that spine. Feeling those shoulders, one on top of the other. Just notice if you're kind of leaning forward or more on your back. Letting the head look towards that horizon. And once you found your side lying shape, just taking a little bit of time here to rest, maybe feeling into the breath in those upper lungs, the upper rib cage. And we're going to take that top hand and just slide it over the bottom, letting the body roll downwards towards the floor and then sliding back. And take that a few times, letting the knees slide on top of each other as well. And then the next time you slide that hand forward over the lower hand, let that hand lift up towards the sky and start opening out. Bring that arm over the body. And then just coming to a place where the ribs can move. And once the ribs kind of stop moving, let that hand stop. So we're not trying to bring the hand all the way to the floor here. We're trying to keep that line of the lungs, the ribs, the hand. And then breathing that hand all the way back to meet that lower hand. And take that in your own time. So breathing that hand across the floor and then opening out. Once the ribs, that rib cage stops moving, stop moving the arm. And then breathing the arm all the way back. Take that 2 or 3 times in this way. And then we're gonna let that movement kind of come to an end. Rest down for a few breaths. Take your time to get there. And then we're going to move those hands down towards the knees now. So coming into a little different trajectory for that movement. It's the hands resting down towards the knees. And let's take that movement this way now. So sliding that hand over and opening up. And as the hand open up, it will come kind of up and over the head, diagonally, maybe towards that diagonal corner of the mat, the top corner. And then breathing that hand back. So again, only coming to that place where the rib cage is moving. Keeping that connection between the shoulder and the ribs and the hand. We're not trying to strain or get into any shape here. Just let the movement be really easy, easeful, gentle on the body. And take that one more time on this side, moving in this way. Feeling that rotation of the ribs, movement of the ribs and the lungs. And then settle down here, take a couple of resting breaths. And then we'll move those hands all the way up. So they're kind of in line with the head here. We're just coming to that place which is comfortable. We're not trying to strain the shoulders, not taking them too high. And then we'll take the movement this way now. So sliding that hand over the bottom hand. Bringing that hand over, and this time it will come towards that lower corner of the mat or towards the pelvis, the hip here. And then bringing it all the way back. So we're taking it in that kind of straight diagonal line from that lower hand. Only moving as far as the ribs and the lungs are moving. And take that 3 or 4 times. Feel that rotation, slide and glide of the ribs, those muscles. And let that be your last one. And as you arrive, rest back down. You can bring the hands wherever you'd like, just to take some resting breaths here on the side, taking your time to arrive at that movement. We'll come to the other side to take that movement on the other side. So if you want to come down and just lie on your back for a few breaths, just let your body roll over and just feel how each side of the body feels. And then we'll set up on the other side. So taking your time, you can just roll over to the other side and set yourself up. I'm going to adjust to move to the other side so I'm not facing away. Setting yourself up in the same way. So again, make sure there's some blanket or whatever is beneath the head, behind the head here. Come into that 90-degree shape with the feet and the legs. So like you're sitting on a chair. That lower arm can be out in front and the top arm can rest down in front of you. Feeling into this shape here, make sure your spine is in that neutral position. You're not turning too much inwards or extending too much out. It's just your breathing, really breathing into that upper rib cage, that upper lung here. And then let's begin with those rolling movements. So bringing that hand further than the lower hand, rolling the body down towards the floor and then coming back up. Letting that be really fluid and easeful with the body. And the next time you come forward of that hand, let that upper arm lift up. Start to rotate all the way over towards the back of the mat, the other side of the mat. And just come to where that rib cage stops moving, and then breathing the body back to meet those hands together. Take that movement in your own way, in your own time. Those knees can slide, don't have to be stuck together. Take that one more time on this side. Moving as fast or as slow as feels good for you. Take a little rest down. Pausing here, letting everyone join. And then we'll move those hands towards the knees. Take this movement in this way now. So sliding that hand over the bottom hand, lifting upwards, and then that arm rotates up and over towards the head. And then breathing back to meet that hand. Moving the hand in the same kind of line or direction as the lower hand. And you can watch that hand with your eyes as well. So let the head roll. Let the whole body kind of roll with this movement. Rotate round. Just stopping where the ribs stop moving. Let this be your last one, wherever you are. And then we'll loop down to rest, just taking your time to get there. And then let's slide those hands all the way up, so they're in line almost with the head, maybe a little bit above the head. We'll take this movement again finally on this way. So bringing that hand over the bottom hand, rotating up and out, and that hand comes towards the pelvis, that hip down towards the side of the body, and then comes all the way up to meet that hand again. Let it be a fluid movement. Don't overthink it. You don't need to worry too much, just as long as it feels good for your body. Sensing into that movement of those shoulders, the ribs, the lungs. Let it be really gentle and soft and nourishing for you. And take it one more time. Let this be your last one. And then taking a little pause here. These hands can come back wherever it feels comfortable. Just take a few moments on the side body. And then we're going to take a wash rag on our back bodies before we rest. But if you're really comfortable on your side or want to stay here for your rest, then just allowing yourself to do that. You can bring a pillow or blankets or cushions and hug around on your side body. Or if you'd like, coming on over onto your back body, letting yourself roll over. Bringing the knees up towards the sky, those feet on the earth, and you can bring those feet to quite far away, so around maybe that mat width apart. And then you can let the knees, one knee knock into the middle, one knee knock out, the head comes the other side, and then let those knees knock to the other way, the head looks over the other side. Just taking that little twist of the body, wash rag movement. And if you'd like here, you can pause down on one side, or you can keep moving here. Breathing the knees back up and then coming the other way. Taking a little pause on the other side if that's what you're doing. Breathing the knees back up if you'd like, and just taking any final movements. Maybe staying with this wash rag for a few more breaths, or bringing the knees into chest and giving a little hug. Be a happy baby. Just keep whatever you're doing really soft and gentle and moving with the body. Taking a few minutes of those movements before we come to rest. But if you're ready to come to rest, and start to set yourself up in that rest whenever you'd like. And so when you do start setting yourself up, just bringing any support you'd like. So I always like having a bolster underneath the knees, maybe some cushions if you don't have a bolster, or a pillow. If If you have a blanket, you might want to put it underneath the sit bones or the pelvis as well, and you can kind of tuck the blanket around the lower back and the sit bones to give a little bit more support on that pelvis and lower back. Maybe a blanket for underneath the head. Maybe some cushions for the feet to give a bit of support there as well. Bringing any extra layers over you if your space is a little chilly. Just taking your time to set yourself up in your resting shape. So if you do have blankets, you can kind of tuck them around the head to give support for the neck and the head here. You can tuck them around the pelvis as well. Just giving a little bit more support underneath the body where it rests down. And if you don't have lots of kind of props or things to use, just finding a way you can be as comfortable as possible in your space. Lying however you want. That could be lying flat on the belly, face down. It can be lying on the back or the side. Maybe you really like that legs up the wall at the start or legs on the sofa, finding that shape as well if you'd like to finish there. And as you do find yourself in your rest, beginning now to settle where you are. And as we did at the start, feeling into where your body meets the earth, those supported structures around you, those soft props that might be around you. Allowing the eyes to be closed, that's comfortable. And just noticing what you notice. How is your body feeling? Letting whatever part of the body is resting down on the earth really meet the earth. Meet the support of the earth. And let the other side of the body, either the back or front, whatever is away from the earth, let that hug in towards the other side of the body. So your whole body is hugging down, grounding down into the support of the earth. And at the same time, letting there be that space, that support and balance for the breath, that lightness, so the breath can move in the body. So the lungs can expand, the belly can move and be soft. And let every part of your body, every cell in your body be with you in this sense of rest, in this comfort, in this sense of stillness or quietness. Softness. Being kind to your body. If you'd like, again here, you can let those exhales extend slightly. Letting that help you or support you to stay present or you keep on arriving in your body where you are in this rest. Letting any sounds around you just wash over, be part of the experience. Seeing if you can let anything that might be trying to distract you or be a distraction just be there, but not take you away from this experience. Letting your breath, the sensations in your body, the rest in your cells keep you present and aware of this place, this space that you're in. So maybe you'd like to stay in this space for a bit longer, feeling absolutely free to do that, and you can just turn off the Zoom or the device and just stay here as long as you'd like. If you'd like to finish together, starting to bring that awareness to your breath if it was distracted by something or my voice. Extending those exhales, letting the breath bring you back to where you are. Bring your awareness down to your toes. Can you feel each one of your toes in this shape? And take a little small movements through the toes now. It's beginning to invite a little sense of movement in the body. Bring awareness to each of the fingers, the thumb. Again, starting to move those fingers. Make these movements a little bit bigger, maybe moving into the ankles and the wrists. Maybe starting to feel into the legs and the arms, the shoulders, having it all stretch out. Bring those arms up over the head and back down. Being really gentle and kind to yourself. And then in the next 2 or 3 breath cycles, inhale and exhale, breathing over to one side if you're on your back body, or if you're on your front, coming over to a side as well if you'd like. Just hugging inwards here on your side body, giving your heart a hug, curling those toes and fingers again. And as you are down on your side, maybe having a little think about how you'd like to spend the rest of the day in terms of how you want your body to feel, the mind, or how you just want to approach the rest of your day. Maybe with the feelings that are in you, or how you'd like to be for the next couple hours this evening. When you're ready in the next couple of breath cycles, just very gently bringing yourself up to a seat. Again, staying down in that shape. If that was serving you, like to stay there for longer. Just bringing any support you would like under the sit bones, what's coming to whatever kind of seat you'd like to close the practice with if you're going to finish in a seated shape. Just taking any movements you might want to take here to reawaken if you're seated, maybe movements to the spine, the shoulders, the head, the neck. Keeping those eyes closed if you'd like. And then breathing those hands out to the side, all the way up over the head. And then breathing them down towards the body, resting them down where it feels comfortable, maybe on the heart, maybe heart and belly or the legs. And sending every cell in your body so much love and gratitude, appreciation, compassion. Taking this time for yourself this afternoon, or whatever time you might be rewatching this. Sending yourself love and kindness. Arohamai, Aroha Atu. Love and compassion received, love and compassion given. Thank you. Have a lovely rest of the day.